Hello, Bulldog fans. Welcome into the Samford Sports Wrap-Up, where we take a look at everything happening in the world of Samford athletics. I'm John McAfoose, and I'm joined today by Samford soccer coach Todd Yellen. Coach, thanks for being here today.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, conference play right around the corner. You've got SoCon matches at home both Friday and Sunday, but before we get into conference play, let's kind of recap the non-conference schedule. A really difficult schedule for you guys, as it typically is, but you're coming off a really encouraging 2-0 win against Kennesaw State. What have you seen out of your team so far this season?
Well, I think a lot of growth is what I'd really say. I mean, I put them in a really tough spot. If you look right now, 4 of our 5 losses are to teams that probably are in the NCAA tournament. Auburn's, I think, 9th in the country right now. Baylor's been as high as 10th. LSU's done quite well, and then Memphis probably is going in the top 25 this week, I would think, after their win over Ole Miss. So, crosstown rival, and we didn't play so well against UAB, but still, I mean, the group's definitely been squeezed and been challenged. And then in games that we should have won, I think we probably have. Kennesaw State was a really good win for us. I mean, they had just beaten Georgia, and we outshot them 18-1, and we're I think maybe 11-0 on corners. So you don't really know who you are until you've been tested, and so for us, I think we were plenty tested coming into those things, and I think we're starting to see kind of the fruits of our labor, and I think we're in a really good spot starting into the conference and what's really going to be a tough stretch for us.
In that Kennesaw game, you kind of mentioned it, but you dominated really ball possession from the opening whistle until the end of the game. What was the biggest difference you saw in your team in that game?
Well, I think, obviously, I mean, the pressure that we applied, I mean, we really did it quite well against LSU. I mean, I think if we'd have been cleaner in front of goal, we probably could have gotten some out of the LSU game. And that really kind of been started a little bit before with Rice and Memphis. We were up 1-0 on a very good Rice team, but that's been the difference, just the overall amount of pressure that we've been able to apply. And we haven't been particularly clean in front of goal, but I think that'll eventually get there. And if we can do that, then I think we have a chance to be really, really good. But it's been nice to see the growth of a young team, and even though some of our upperclassmen are playing, they haven't played a lot of minutes their freshman and sophomore year, with us graduating, I think 13 starters the last 2 years. But just maturity and just competitive nature of the group has gotten better, and I'm really happy where we're at right now. And it was a bit tough there at times because no one wants to get smacked by Baylor and Auburn like we did early on their first 2 matches. But I think it's been improvement since then.
And finally, preview conference play this weekend. You've got the Citadel on Friday. You've got Mercer on Sunday. What do you expect to see out of those 2 teams? Both
those teams are off to a great start. I mean, Citadel and what Kieran has done there is amazing. He's really done a fantastic job, and I thought Bob, even before that, had done a very good job as well. But I think they have a winning record. They've beaten some teams that in years past they hadn't. And you never have to question the mentality of the Citadel kids. I mean, they have a great mentality, and their approach to the game is always first rate. And then, Mercer is off to, I think, a 5-3-2 start, and it's always a really tough match for us. They gave us fits last year when we went up to their place to play, and what turned out to be a 3-1 game, but we're trailing 1-0 at half. So Tony does an amazing job with that group, and it's a tough opening weekend for us for sure, but I think that's every weekend the SoCon now. I mean, there's, used to you might get a couple easy when you think you're going to win 4-5-0, but that doesn't really seem to be the description of the league anymore. I mean, even if you look what VMI's doing, just got a couple of great wins, and so it's going to be a tough week in and week out.
Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks for having me.
That's Samford soccer coach Todd Yellen. Stay tuned. We've still got an interview with senior midfielder Corey Sauter coming up next.
I'm Sam Pritchard, and this is the Samford Sports Minute. The cross-country team was back in action last weekend, participating in the Commodore Classic hosted by Vanderbilt University. The women finished 13th, while the men finished 7th. The cross-country teams are off this weekend, but will be back in action next Saturday in the JSU Foothills Invitational. The men's golf team kicked off its fall schedule, recording an 8th place finish in the Sam Hall Intercollegiate. The Bulldogs will be back in action next Monday and Tuesday, participating in the Shoal Creek Invitational right here in Birmingham, Alabama. The women's golf team also tees off next week, taking part in the Boston College Tournament. The Samford soccer team will begin conference play this weekend, hosting the Citadel on Friday and Mercer on Sunday. The Bulldogs finished non-conference play with a 3-5 record, with their most recent result being a 2-0 win over Kennesaw State. Samford was picked to win the Southern Conference in the preseason coaches poll. The volleyball team will also begin conference play this weekend, hosting Furman on Friday and Wofford on Saturday. The Bulldogs went 1-2 in the Denver Challenge last weekend and wrapped up non-conference play with a 5-9 record. And finally, Samford football fell in its SoCon opener to Mercer last Saturday, 30-24. The Bulldogs will look to rebound when they travel to Chattanooga this Saturday for a 6 p.m. kickoff. I'm Sam Pritchard, and this has been your Samford Sports Minute.
Welcome back to the Samford Sports Wrap-Up. I'm joined now by senior midfielder Corey Sauter. Corey, appreciate you being here, and I want to start by asking you something that I asked your coach already, and that's just kind of what have you seen from your team so far? He talked a lot about the growth and the improvement. What have you seen through the first couple of weeks?
I would have to second that. We've definitely grown a lot as a team coming out of the spring last semester. We kind of picked up where we left off, but I think even in the last month, we've really just kind of come together, figured out our style. There was a lot of kind of just switching around at the beginning to see, what would work for us this year. With losing several key players last year. But yeah, I think we've definitely kind of come together, and now with conference starting, it's kind of perfect timing. We're on the up and up, headed into that. So,
talk a little bit about the Jacksonville State game, a big road game for you against an in-state team. You fall behind early and kind of have to show some resolve and battle back. You end up taking home a 2-1 victory in double overtime, and you scored both goals in that game. What did that mean for you personally and also as a team to kind of get some positive momentum going?
It was definitely a big game, big win. It was really frustrating when we went down just because that had kind of happened multiple times. We all just really battled, didn't give up when we went down, didn't hang our heads, just kind of used it as motivation to keep going. When it went into overtime, I think we were all just trying to score as quickly as possible. We were hitting everything long, getting it up there. And then when I finished the second goal, it was kind of a relief that we pulled off the win. We'd played great the whole game, and it was going into the kind of last couple of games of the non-conference, and just finish on a strong note and get that momentum going. So,
as a senior, part of your role is kind of also to become a leader on and off the field. How have you kind of taken to that? Are there any young players that you've kind of taken under your wing or developed maybe a close relationship with?
Grace Somi and Taylor Miller both, as I've kind of transitioned to playing a little more center back. I started the season playing forward, so it's been a little bit of a transition, but both of them are sophomores and they have been playing beside me and they've been doing great. So it's kind of more of a mutual dependency where I'm kind of learning from them a little bit, and also as a senior kind of trying to be the vocal presence back there in the back, organizing everyone, but it's definitely improved our relationship off the field as well. And honestly, everyone on the team this year, I think, is great. The freshmen that came in, they're super great. Love them. Love the team dynamic this year. It's been really good.
You mentioned moving around on the pitch a lot. You're listed as midfielder. We've seen you play up front. You mentioned playing center back. What's that been like for you?
It's been fun, honestly, just being able to play the different roles. I enjoy center back and having a little more time to distribute the ball and being able to see all the field. It was a little difficult in the Kennesaw State game and Jacksonville State, just with wanting to get up into the attack more and be involved in that as well. But yeah, I'm happy to be on the field wherever that may be and just play whatever role I need to be playing that night. So.
And finally, conference play begins this week. Kind of tell us what you expect to see out of the Southern Conference this year.
I think there will be lots of good games. Everyone always brings their best against us, and we have to expect that. But if we keep playing as we have been and keep up the hard work, that's been a big thing for us this season, just working hard, and then I think that we will see some success. Hopefully carry us into the postseason, and yeah, I'm really excited to see just how this last season unfolds.
Corey, appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Samford will open conference play this weekend, hosting the Citadel on Friday and Mercer on Sunday. Friday's game will air on ESPN3 and Sunday's game on ESPN+. I'm John McAdoo. That'll do it for this episode of the Samford Sports Wrap-Up. We'll see you next time.